only two dudes with attitudes, but we're two chaps with all the stats.
What is going on? Two dudes with attitudes, a wrestling podcast, and we are going back to back with these special pay-per-view / PLE editions, and this is our Survivor Series War Games edition / breakdown. As always, Wolfpack, I am the dude of Wrestle Talk, Mr. MWO, with no hat today, and with me as always,
it's throwing me off that you don't have a hat on.
Do I really look like a different human, huh? And with me, as always, is the brother, the twin brother of the man who did absolutely nothing in War Games, Shooting Star Press, the honorary dude. What's going on, my man?
Oh, it was nothing really happened at Survivor Series. There was not a lot to talk about. We had the big return of R-Truth. If we want to get into that,
excited.
Yeah, I was excited.
We'll start with all the returns. We'll go through them all. I know Triple H made that joke, but I was pumped when R-Truth popped up with those chips in his hand. So
yeah, that was good stuff. R-Truth he's a gem. They need to hang on to him and have him dethrone Roman Reigns. Let's just do it. Just put the belt on R-Truth already.
Do you remember there is a time when he was in against Cena, when Cena was champ, he was like a threat. So he was getting number one contender matches, having
he was a heel.
With Jimmy. Was it Jimmy or Timmy?
Little Jimmy,
right? Yeah,
and he thought there was a conspiracy against him from the top down. And then him and Miz teamed against Rock and Cena at Survivor Series.
Yes, they did.
2012, I think it was 2012.
That is right. The main event. Yeah. R-Truth was legit. So I mean, what can you do?
Yeah.
It is what it is. It is what it is. But before we break that down, we're going to do these. We like them. And that means we'll still be back Thursday and Friday for our normal broadcasting. We'll do Raw, NXT in a segment, and then AEW, which I need to start watching. They did Rampage and Collision during Survivor Series. So I haven't seen them.
I don't know why they did that.
Like talk about no ratings. And I heard it was like impact, like it was good stuff. Like Edge lost his marbles, and I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it was actually good. So once again, Tony Khan, stop doing all your good stuff on an episode you know nobody's going to watch.
Yeah.
Do it when people watch these episodes. Like it's like having MJF lose his title on a Collision. But so what we're going to do today, we're going to do like we did with our last AEW Full Gear one. We'll run through them pretty quick. So it'll be about a good 15, 20-minute recap, if not less, maybe a little bit more. But we got to start off with the returns, baby, right? So we had 3 returns. We had 3 returns and the internet's ablaze. So I think we're going to talk about the returns and talk about people's ridiculous reactions and what we think. Do we like them? Do we not? How we're feeling about it. So we'll go R-Truth. You liked it, right? Here's the thing with R-Truth, right? He's been injured forever thanks to Grayson Waller. I don't know if you ever remember that, but he did a flip out of the ring and Grayson Waller
towards
just like
Achilles
watched
too.
him.
Yeah.
Grayson Waller was just like, man, whatever. Didn't even attempt to like grab him like a la Logan Paul. He was gone forever, and he comes back with, R-Truth's a comedy act. So he returned with another great comedy act, the Alpha Academy, fighting over Ruffle chips. And I had to say, me and my son were watching this. We love Ruffles. Cheddar sour cream are fire, and the cheddar sour cream hot ones, I think the flaming hot cheddar sour are even better. I love these chips. I support all this. And once again, if you're going to do an advertisement, this is the way to do it, AEW. It wasn't the Ruffles women's war game cheddar sour cream match where they were like getting bags of chips and hitting each other with it. And Becky Lynch came out dressed as a Ruffles bag of cheddar sour cream chips before the match. No, they just had a quick little segment in between. Weird, right? To have a segment in between pay-per-views so people can take a piss, get another beer, spend more money on merchandise, and not have to miss things. AEW.
Just take a breath. Yeah, just
like
slow down. Yeah.
And did it throw you off? Maybe watching at home, you can go take a piss, say hi to your kids, make sure everything's going right. Maybe if you're live streaming, you can like freaking read comments for a second and get a job. AEW, take notes. What'd you think of the R-Truth return, my man?
I'm always happy to see R-Truth back. And I'm, because he's up there in age. He's like 48, 49, and to suffer that kind of injury is it's different than when somebody like an NFL player at the age of 27 tears their Achilles. When he does it, you expect him to be out for quite a while, and the recovery is going to take a little bit longer. So I'm always happy to see him back. I like that he did a segment with Pretty Deadly. I love I liked all the stuff with the Alpha Academy. and Tozawa. I think R-Truth and Tozawa have a bright future together. If they decide to do like a comedy tag team or something, I think they would be hysterical together. But it was a fun segment, and I'm glad R-Truth is back. And let's see what he does. I
Yeah.
love R-Truth. I think he's great.
Yeah, me too. Second return. You ready?
Yes,
We already
sir.
knew it was happening. Randy
Kind
Orton.
of, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they did
was-
didn't name who it was, but then they like named him in the pre-warm-ups. They were like, it's Randy Orton. He's coming. Then why didn't he say Randy Orton?
And then
Either
and
way.
then-
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Go ahead. No, you
I-
can talk. You can have Randy Orton first. Go ahead.
I liked Randy. Randy Orton looked great. He looked like he hadn't
That's
missed
an
a beat.
understatement. Yeah.
He looked like he looked like he was in tremendous shape. He looked jacked. He looked happy to be there. He looked fantastic. That RKO to JD McDonough off of the top of the cage was phenomenal. All of it was good. I didn't care for the buildup of Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn in the back with Jey Uso. Is he coming? Is he not? Is he not going to be there? Is he going to be here? What's he going to do? I didn't care for that. And then Cody Rhodes. Oh, I haven't heard from Randy yet, but don't worry, he's come. And then like the teasing, and then he doesn't come out with the War Games team. He comes out like 3/4 of the way in, and then the fake cash in from Rhea Ripley with the briefcase and Damian Priest, and Randy Orton's not out there just yet. It was just the whole execution of it to me was really bad. And then of course I marked out when he came out. I was excited to see him, and again he looked really great in the ring. I just didn't care for all of the backstage shenanigans of will it be him, will it won't be him, and then it turns out it was him. So all of that was a moot point. They could have done something else. They could have had him show up early, or they could have kept it a surprise or something. If you're going to do that, might as well just keep it a surprise and let us know that he's not that we don't know who the fifth member is, and make people think it's going to be CM Punk, and then turns out it's Randy Orton. So
yeah,
I was happy with the return. He looked great, but it was the execution and all the backstage stuff that I wasn't fond of.
Yeah, there was really only one execution I appreciated in all of the Survivor Series, which we'll get into next. But everything else, the Randy Orton thing, like you nailed it on the head. If you're gonna have him fake it and this and that, then have him be the surprise. Why couldn't he have waited? You know how much I feel like the crowd would have been way more into it if the Viper was vipering it up in the cage, waiting to get out, and they make him last. They would have been chanting his name the entire time, building it up. Like, if you did all that for a fake cash in, then that's stupid. And it wasn't even like a kind of I was like, how are you even cashing in? Don't they have to have there was the cage? He didn't have it. I was so confused.
It was all
on why Drew McIntyre had to go out fourth and Damian had to go out third, because that's Damian's plan to cash in. What did that have to do with it? It was all it was just all stupid.
And what would have happened?
That's not even. We could talk about that match later, I guess. But yeah. I guess I'm getting into the match. But nonetheless, Randy Orton came out. We're happy to have him back. I think he looked way better. I mean, he looked beefy in a good way. The dude was like bigger, buffer, six-packier. I mean, Randy Orton, I mean, I don't care if you're straight or what. As a male, you can admit that that's one sexy human being.
Yeah,
Randy Orton is just doing his thing. He doesn't look even a day over 20 right now. He looked great. He looked good. He looked smooth. It just shows Randy Orton doesn't get enough respect. He's top 10 easily of all time. Easily all time. And he doesn't get the respect he deserves. I want him to beat Ric Flair's championship record. I hope he gets a run. He said he has 10 more years in him. That gives him more than enough time to do that. The RKO was awesome. The spot, good job on JD. I thought he was a half second off with it. Randy was, but it wasn't the best. The internet's trying to say it was the best. It was not.
Oh, yeah.
Top three of all time, because I don't know if you remember the Seth Rollins one, which is
that one was awesome too.
Great. And he didn't want to do that, a la Seth Rollins claims. He didn't want to do it. Seth Rollins made him. They hadn't practiced it. That's the best one by far. It's not even close. But nonetheless, good stuff. I loved it. Now I want to talk about something that was the best. And this is the greatest surprise return of all time. I'm going to say it right now. I think it is more than Edge, more than Cena, more than Punk going AEW, more than anything. And the best part about this is not just the stupid reactions by TikTokers, YouTubers, and Twitch people on the world pretending about people's reactions, which we will get into, but the fact that the Dave Meltzers in the world and all these people claim that you cannot have a surprise. It's impossible to surprise us with the internet. No, it is not, people. When you don't let anybody in on the secret, it, no one's going to hear about it. And they literally let nobody in on the secret, did not give enough people to email friends or text people out or live stream it or TikTok it in the back. And I'll let you bring it up. Who did we get the return of after the credits were already, after the logo hit? A certain somebody, your favorite of all time that you've kind of turned on. I want to know how you felt about the return, if you think it's the best ever. Who returned, and are you digging it? Let's go.
So right as the logo was playing, that the show was going to go off the air with the Team Seth or Team Cody celebrating their victory over the Judgment Day in War Games, and they play the logo, and you think the show's about to go off the air, and all of a sudden you hear the famous guitar riff of Cult of Personality, and it was none other than CM Punk. And I kept thinking, like, maybe this is a troll job, like maybe Grayson Waller's going to come out and be because he's been trolling a lot of people recently with his comments about Taylor Swift and that kind of. I was wondering if they were going to do something like that, or maybe Paul Heyman comes out to that music again and he cuts a something on the Bloodline, or he talks about LA Knight, or he does. I wasn't convinced until I saw CM Punk walk through the gorilla position, come out of the curtain, come onto the stage with his white t-shirt and his jeans and his Adidas shoes. And he was there. And I think it might be one of the greatest returns of all time, if not the greatest return of all time, because I didn't see it coming. I don't think you saw it coming. I don't think people can say what they want. I don't think anybody saw this coming. I was convinced that he wasn't going to be there. I wasn't unconvinced that he wasn't going to, I was convinced he was coming back at the Rumble. I didn't think he was coming back at Survivor Series. But he showed up, and man, he looked 20 years younger. He looked healthy. He looked like he's been hitting the gym in this 2-3 months off that he's been in. And it was an incredible return. And he didn't say a word. All you could hear him say was, "Whose town is this?" as he's talking to fans and hugging them in the audience. And yeah, it was an incredible moment. And I'm back on the CM Punk bandwagon. I think this is a good thing for him. I think I think we talked about it when we went off the air, or before we went on the air, that he regrets going to AEW and it was a big mistake. And I think he looked healthy, he looked happy, he looked refreshed, and curious to see what they do with him. He's going to be on Monday Night Raw tonight, apparently, and I want to see him with a live mic. Let's see what he does. I am so excited that he's back in the WWE. And the fourth big return, besides Punk, R-Truth, and Randy Orton, you alluded to it earlier, is the return of surprises. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody saw this coming. We all, even WWE duped me when they put the logo on the screen and it looked like the show was going off the air. I had my finger on the power button. I was like, okay, well, he didn't come back. No big deal. And then as soon as I was hitting that power button, the riff hit, and I was like, oh no, stop. It was just incredible, all of it. And I'm glad that he's back, and I want to see what they do with him.
Yeah, I agree. I almost turned it off as well, just because I was disappointed, and we'll get into that with the pay-per-view as a whole, or the PLE.
Yeah.
But yeah, the surprise was awesome. Him coming out was awesome. You're right. He looked like $1 million. He trimmed down his beard a little bit, so it wasn't as grayish. He got a haircut to make him look a little bit younger. That's what he has to do. He looked to be in better shape. He was also wearing kind of a baggy shirt, so who knows? But he just looked happier. Here's the thing, man, so we were both huge CM Punk fans. I mean, been rocking with CM Punk forever. Love the guy. And I've lost hope in him at AEW because he was falling apart. But here's the thing, right? Everyone deserves second chances, for one. Secondly, people are like, oh, well, he failed in WWE. And then, a lot of people have had problems with Vince McMahon's WWE. So I don't count that as him having issues. AEW had a ton of issues. Yes. So that's 100% factual. But if you are a human being who has had multiple jobs, are you going to tell me that you've never had a job that you were just not as happy with as you were, and you had issues with employees or with management or with this is how life works, man. You go to a place you're not happy with and you regret it, bad things happen. And Tony Khan is not a boss who is controlling things. Look at AEW still. So I don't even buy into the fact that now that he's in WWE, oh, it's just he'll be here for 3 days and blah. Nah. Triple
No, I
H
don't
and
think
him
so.
Triple H controlled him once, he can control him again. He's not going to be the top dog in the back walking through people, so he's not going to try to run his mouth and fight people. WWE is a whole different locker room and environment. He's going to work here. And if you're going to tell me right now, let's get into the reactions, because
Yes,
we had a reaction from supposedly Drew McIntyre right before the event took off. Before he even came out, he was upset. As soon as that happened, even you told me, I think it's real. I was like, no, fam. Like, his whole gimmick is that he's pissed off about losing opportunities and getting ripped off from them. And he tried to team up with Judgment Day because Rhea Ripley promised him that was a win, and then he lost. So number one, he's just reacting to the moment, and he just came out and admitted it. He just had an interview today, or I don't know when it posted, where basically he said, I'm sick of losing. And I didn't even lose.
They were at a house show.
Judgment Day. Yeah, Judgment Day lost it for me. So, okay, click, fake, guys. Get off the internet. Number two, Seth Rollins. It was flipping him off and acting so irate. And everyone's like, oh, my God, they had Michael Cole there and this. Okay, people.
First of all,
let me tell you something about if you truly want to fight somebody and you're that angry, nobody can hold you back. And they weren't even holding him back. They were standing in front of him. Wrestling is not real, y'all. So I know that when they get through the ropes and you can't get through them, or when somebody puts one arm in front of you and you can't fight them anymore, but that's not real life, guys. That's fake trying to fight somebody. If Seth Rollins was really that furious, he's a professional. He wouldn't have shown it on screen like that. He would have went into the back and handled it like a man. Number two, if he was that furious, he would have ran up the ramp. He didn't. So once again, Seth Rollins is a freaking genius. He knew it was going to happen, that he was going to come out. That's how he wanted to react, because he knew people would catch on and talk about it. And now CM Punk versus Seth Rollins is going to make $1 billion and be a bigger match than Roman and Cody. So you guys should be thanking Seth Rollins. Everybody's like, oh, I saw something on the internet about he's had beef with Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay. Yes, because he's good at his job. That's how you do things. You put your name out there to build up hype, whether it goes through or they sign with AEW and don't come over. He's a freaking genius. That comment he made about CM Punk that long ago, they thought Punk was going to come back then. It's all money. You think he really hates CM? Maybe he doesn't think he's the coolest guy or whatever, but they're going to wrestle y'all and have a phenomenal match, and you guys are all going to be grateful for it. And then they had Rhea Ripley, who was feeding in. I think people forget that Rhea Ripley is a cocky heel. So she saw Seth Rollins doing it. She threw the middle finger and was like, blah, and did like the watch thing. Yeah, of course she's mocking Punk. Punk's going to come back as a babyface. She's a heel they just lost. She's reacting. They are actors, people. These people are entertainers. None of this is real. No one in the back cares if CM Punk is there at all. You want to know why? Because everybody in WWE, unlike AEW, like to make money. And they know that CM Punk is going to make money. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm also now on board. I'm about to blow the dust off all my CM Punk shirts and start wearing them again.
Me too.
I'm excited. I think he's going to turn it around. I think this is going to be a great business for WWE, and I think everyone is going to win. I don't want to start harping on AEW because I know everybody's like, oh my gosh, Cody, Punk. I'm not going there. MJF supposedly is already re-signed, which I was saying anyway, that I think he did sign an extension. And I said that before it came out that he signed an extension. I think it just makes sense. But so I don't think AEW is faltering because of this or any blame. They're doing all right. They haven't lost. They still have some good core there, but I think this is good. I think this is good for Triple H, good business for WWE, and kudos to them. Everyone deserves a second chance, and sometimes you work better in other places than you do in one. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I agree with you on the reactions. I thought, for the record, Drew McIntyre was hurt, and that's why he was so mad. That's why I thought it was real. I didn't think it was because of Punk or anything. I was just like, oh, because he did look really pissed, and I was like, maybe he's like he tore something, and he's not letting it show, or something happened. But with Seth Rollins, first of all, if it was real, you would have more security down there. Like real life, legit security holding him back. Not Michael Cole. Michael Cole's gonna. Have you seen Michael Cole? I think I could beat Michael. Even though he's undefeated at WrestleMania, I think I could beat Michael Cole in a fight. And he's not like you're gonna have him holding Seth Rollins back. You're not gonna have any of the wrestlers come out of the cage where Randy Orton and Jey Uso were up there dapping it up, even though out of character, in storyline mode, they're supposed to not like each other because Jey Uso
what
put
was
Randy
that
on the
about?
shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they're in there dapping it up while Seth Rollins is flipping off. Like, you're not going to send them out there to hold Seth Rollins back. Like, no, the reactions were completely overstated and over like, and what WWE is doing is they're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. And
I like that.
what they're doing is what did everybody say in AEW? Get Kenny Omega versus CM Punk. Get CM Punk and FTR versus the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. Make that the main event at All In Wembley, and you'll sell out that building. And they couldn't do it because why? They didn't like each other. They wouldn't be in the same ring together. They couldn't. They had to be on opposite sides of the locker room. They had to have separate locker rooms. They even gave CM Punk his own freaking show on Saturdays to be separated from Kenny and the Bucks. So what is WWE doing? Let's make it look like Drew McIntyre hates CM Punk. Let's make it look like Seth Rollins hates CM Punk. And then we're going to do what AEW couldn't do, and that's put these two guys in a ring together, and let's watch the money print. And it's glorious. I can't wait for it. I'm in the camp, though, that I think CM Punk versus Roman Reigns should be the match at WrestleMania with all the Paul Heyman stuff and the longest reigning WWE champion in Roman Reigns and the longest reigning WWE champion of the modern era in CM Punk. I think there's more history there, but CM Punk versus Seth Rollins is going to be a phenomenal match. And I'm curious. I really am excited to hear what he has to say tonight on Monday Night Raw.
Dude, and Randy Orton's at Monday Night Raw. We got a lot of stuff going on. I am pumped for this Monday Night Raw. I'll tell you that much. And that's another thing that Triple H did well. And we got like 10 more minutes to kick in through all these matches. But I am going to say, though, just like AEW, because they have so much darn talent over there, especially with Will Ospreay, like who's going to face MJF next, who's going to be, I feel like WWE's starting to get there too, on like who's going to win the Rumble, man. You got Punk, Gunther, Orton, Cody Rhodes. You have so many people. You can even throw Solo in there, Jey Uso if you want. You got so much going on. And I think this week we should do a little prediction of WrestleMania for our segment. So I'm going to throw it out there.
I'm down for that. Yeah.
Tune into it. I think we need to try to predict the card the best we can. Maybe 5-6 matches on what we think night 1, night 2 main events and some other matches that we think are going to headline WrestleMania.
I'm down for that.
So we'll see how close we are. But all right, let's get into the. Oh wait, go ahead. What?
I was just going to say, who probably won't win the Royal Rumble, wasn't even on the Survivor Series card, is the quote unquote fastest rising superstar in all of WWE, and that's LA Knight. So, but still stacked with talent, and I can't wait.
LA Knight, and we missed the beat too. Survivor Series really missed them. Wink, wink. All right, so let's get into it. So, before we get into it, I just want to say right off the bat, this card was mid AF.
Big time.
I know everyone's loving it. I don't know why. And here's the other thing too. Please, next year, Triple H, bring back the Survivor Series, traditional Survivor Series. Look at behind me, right? I just brought down all my posters. I had them too high. Remember I told you I had posters up high? So I brought them down to fill in the space. Looks a little bit better, right? And here is Survivor Series War Games poster. Can you kind of see it? There's some reflections on it.
Yeah.
And it's the bloodline.
You're pointing at the it's opposite. So you're pointing at the Mania.
Darn it.
Yeah.
There it is.
There you go.
Stupid mirror. But yeah, there it is. So that's the War Games, okay? It worked last year because there was a point to have a War Games, right? It's like a Hell in a Cell. You can't have a Hell in a Cell with no buildup. You can't just have it to have it for fun. And that's what happened with WCW back in the days. They were just having cage matches for no reason. You can't have a War Games. We had 2 War Game matches literally for no reason. And were they good? Sure, we'll get into that. But I'm just saying next year, let's do traditional Survivor Series matches, please. I'm over this War Games stuff. If you want to have a War Games match, make it on a pay-per-view and have it main event for 2 people who are groups who are really getting at it, or they need to be for do it if it's Raw versus SmackDown or whatever pointlessness, but I don't know. But the women's match, let's get into it. You texted me beforehand. I don't know if you changed your mind or not, but we had the women's match, Damage Control versus Bianca, Charlotte, Shotzi, and Becky Lynch. I actually thought this was the best match of the night, believe it or not. I actually thought they brought it. It was entertaining. It was fun. But like the trend going, it was a non-surprised outcome. We all knew Damage Control was going to lose. We all knew Bayley was going to take the loss. We all knew that was going to happen. But Bayley's entrance and our Damage Control's entrance was bomb with the mask. I thought it was super cool. And I think the spot of the night was Io Sky putting a trash can over herself and then just blindly jumping into outer space, hoping to land on people. That was my favorite spot. I liked it more than the RKO because I've seen better RKOs, but that was my spot of the night. But I thought this match was a good match. The problem is, once again, good match, but what does it do for anything? How does this move any stories?
Right.
forward?
And where do you go from here with because Becky Lynch is going back to Monday Night Raw. Damage Control. I mean, I guess Bayley looks like she was getting some babyface reactions, so maybe she turns babyface here shortly, and she loses control of her own group. But Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch at the Survivor Series press conference afterwards were all giddy and happy, and like they look like they've let bygones be bygones, and like it was just all of that was really weird. And so I'm curious to see where they go from here with this. But this was the better of the two War Games matches for sure. And I'll admit it. I'm not a Charlotte Flair apologist or anything, but that moonsault she did off the cage too was pretty dope, and she deserves her flowers for that. But no surprise in this outcome with the baby faces getting the win.
The thing is, she does that every match she has, and she's done it from a cage before. That's what I'm saying. Like these War Game matches, both of them, they were fun, and once again, all these matches were B matches. They all were good matches. They weren't A's. I think they were all B's. No. They were all great matches, whatever. But what did they do? They were all typical outcomes, didn't move story any. That's what I'm talking about with why this thing was mid. All right, next match, we had The Miz versus Gunther. I thought this was bizarre for was it just me, or did The Miz just get his ass kicked for 20 minutes and then Gunther won? Miz got like 10 seconds of offense in, and like, I mean, Gunther's a freaking star, but what was the point? I don't get the point of this match. That's all I got. I didn't get it.
I thought the Miz was going to show out a little bit better than what he put forth, but and I thought maybe we would see this is where Kaiser comes in and costs Gunther or does something to disqualify him, so he still retains the belt. But and then we get more of that, but they didn't even tease that. The Miz just got thrown around like a rag doll in there and took a clean loss. So good. I mean, I was happy for the Miz, I guess, but disappointing outcome for sure.
Yeah. By the way, I don't always watch the press conferences, and I watched it this time, the whole 58 minutes or whatever. You brought up Charlotte and Becky. They were like out of character. They were even their voices were different. I didn't know that they had. I didn't know they had like wrestling voices. Like Charlotte sounded different. Becky, I know, does a little bit more to her accent, but it was they sounded, but they were like kissing and we're besties. Let's go have a slumber party. So they were out of character. But then Gunther was like full in character. Yeah. So what is that? How it always is? Like you just choose if you're in character,
unless you're
or out
Cody
of
Rhodes and Jey Uso, and you can be drunk at your press conference.
Oh. Yeah, that's right. That was a press I guess it's better than what CM Punk did. All right, so
that's true.
All right, next up we had probably why was this match on a pay-per-view? Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar. Once again, good match. I don't know what this did for why is Dragon Lee and Santos even wrestling? I don't know what the point of this was. And you're talking about LA Knight. Yeah, you couldn't have him on this. You have Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar. Not even a main event of a SmackDown or a Raw on Survivor Series and no LA Knight.
I know that tells you pretty much everything you need to know right there. But
I didn't get it.
I didn't understand.
Sure, but
I didn't understand why they wrote Carlito off. Why couldn't he be write him off after Survivor Series? But you've been teasing Carlito versus at least that had a story and it made sense.
Yeah.
And then you write him off on the Fridays on the SmackDown before, and now Dragon Lee fills in with 1 day to go. Like I don't know. It was the match was fine, but I didn't understand why it was on the card in the first place. And I thought for some reason this was going to be on like the pre-show. I thought they said something about, but it was like the third match of the night. So I don't know.
I agree. All right, Women's World Championship: Zoe Stark versus Rhea Ripley. Once again, Rhea Ripley's a star. Her entrance, she's a star. She's sexy. She's muscular. She's everything you don't think a sexy girl. I'm doing air quotes, people listening on, not watching video, how America perceives women.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
doing everything right, but she's also phenomenal in the ring. She's great on the, it's just everything about her coming out is very Roman Reigns-ish, that when she comes out, people shut up, stand up, and wait for her to do what she needs to do. And Zoe Stark looked like a star. Once again, a good match, but what
Yeah.
what did this do? Rhea
Does
still
she?
Rhea, Zoe
Yeah.
now, and she had a good match. I mean,
Yeah. That's what it should be called Survivor Series What's Next instead of Survivor Series War Games, because again, what's next for Zoe? What's next for Rhea Ripley? We don't know. And is she just gonna fight all the people that she fought in the 5-way at Crown Jewel? Is she just gonna fight them all individually now? So next up is Nia Jax, and then it's what's the MMA girl? Name is escaping me.
Shayna Baszler.
Shayna Baszler. Yeah. And then she's just gonna fight all of them individually, or what? I don't know. It's just we got to do something. And good match for Zoe, I guess. But no surprise with the outcome of Rhea retaining.
No surprise. And main event time, the men's War Games match. Obviously, Cody, Jay, Sami, Seth, and Randy. I forgot Sami was even in the damn match. Versus Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre. But for realsies, you know how I feel about War Games matches. They're all over the place. Was this match good? Sure. Once again, it was a B. It was a good match. Had good things. The RKO, I also hate that they all bring in weapons. I think it's so stupid. Then it makes it even more convoluted. Like, I get the tables here and there, but I mean, you bring in everyone bring a weapon. Cody didn't. I did like the moment of Cody coming out. We already talked about the Randy thing and how we felt about that. I thought it was stupid. I think he should have stayed in the cage. I think the crowd chanting for him and "We want Randy" would have been a way better build, since we already knew he was coming, than him just coming out at the end. The cash in was freaking stupid. I'm sick of it. And now with CM Punk back, and we're gonna get Punk versus Rollins. What the hell are we doing with Damian Priest now? Is he going to cash in on Gunther? Maybe. I mean, I don't mind that. I don't mind that, but I feel like he's now out of the title picture once again. And let's just say it. How can Triple H do something so well, like surprise CM Punk, bring back Randy Orton, be this phenomenal booker, building WWE to where it hasn't been at since the Attitude Era, but yet he does not know how to freaking build a faction when he's the king of factions, being in 2 of maybe the top 5 factions of all time? He does not know how to build Judgment Day. What the hell is he? He had Judgment Day not only lose clean, but embarrassingly. This is why I was so mad. That's why I almost missed CM Punk, because I was so pissed off.
Yeah.
How can you have Judgment Day lose here? And that's rounded up the most predictable premium live event WWE has ever had. And I think another you can't just build stories on Raw and SmackDown and NXT. You got to build stories on the premium live events too. That's the whole point of these, is to end the buildups and to start new ones. You have to do it all. And yes, you did it with CM Punk, but what the hell are we doing with Judgment Day? What are we doing? They can't beat up anybody. They lose to 5 random dudes who don't even get along.
Yeah, it was so the outcome was bad. And if you're gonna have Judgment Day lose, at least do what you thought was gonna happen, which was Randy Orton costs his babyface team the win, or
he RKOs.
He costs Cody Rhodes. He RKOs Cody Rhodes out all of a sudden out of the blue, or Jey Uso. They're teasing that, right? Jey Uso's face when Cody was talking about the Apex Predator. Yep. So have him RKO Jey Uso and let Judgment Day get the win that way, or something. But yeah, the cash-in thing was stupid too. So because technically the match hadn't started yet, because not all 5 competitors were in for Team Cody. So if Damian Priest had successfully cashed in, would the match have ended? Would he have just been the champion and then the match would have gone on? All of it made no sense. And I don't understand why Triple H can't book Judgment Day to look strong at all. Like, you have them running Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, but then when it comes to PLEs, they just lose constantly. And it's, you didn't see that happening with the Bloodline at all up until recently. You didn't see that happening with the Bloodline. You don't really see that happening with Gunther very often. You don't see these people taking clean loss after clean loss after clean loss. And that's what this was, weapons were involved, but it was a clean loss against 5 random dudes. And this match fell flat for me. This was probably my least favorite match of the night.
Yep, and without CM Punk's return, that's how we would have ended it. And where did Judgment Day go from here? Like, here's the thing too, right? Losing individual matches all the time is one thing, but then you have them lose as a group too, so they're not even good as a whole,
Yeah.
as a unit. So they're not good individually or as units. And I know they're champs and they hold briefcases, but nonetheless, man, like, learn how to book a faction. Triple H, come on, you're doing everything so well and so right, but you can't do this right. It's just boggles my mind. Really, really, truly does. So, yeah.
It was all in all. I think the event was okay. It wasn't great, nothing to write home about. But you could argue that the returns of Randy Orton and CM Punk really saved it from being a disastrous of an event. Probably worse than the recent pay-per-view at, what was it, Payback or Fastlane, where they had it.
Fastlane, yeah.
Like it makes me question too, what's next for Damian Priest? I mean, is he ever going to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase? Because now you have Punk back. It's going to be Punk and Rollins most likely. Cody versus Roman. Where does Priest, does he cash in on NXT? Does he cash in on Gunther? Does he cash in on Logan Paul? I mean, I don't know. Like, but yeah, hopefully there's a plan for him. Because if it's an unsuccessful cash in, then all of this was a waste of time.
I agree. Let's see what happens. So that's it, y'all. That was our Survivor Series War Games recap. Hope you guys like these episodes. Hopefully, thank you guys for tuning in. We went 36 minutes, but I guess we did have a lot to talk about. So it was fun. We will be back Thursday for our WWE edition, Friday for our AEW edition. Don't forget to tune in. Keep doing your thing, y'all. We appreciate you guys. We're starting to blow up again on YouTube, so we love it. We're starting to do these TikToks and getting all that out. So keep doing what you're doing. As always, I'm the dude of Wrestle Talk, Mr. MWO. And with me, as always, is
Shooting Star Press. And go hit us up on all your podcast platforms. Go download us. Go subscribe. Go rate us and review us. Follow us on YouTube. We're on TikTok at Two Dudes with Attitudes. Go follow us there. And, we're blowing up. And so we appreciate all the love and support.
All right, Two Dudes Wolfpack.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday, back to represent. Two Dudes with Attitudes.